And since today we are celebrating the Chinese New Year, now we are going to talk with tea master Othniel Giovanni, who is the author of Diary of a Tea Drinker. Hello, Othniel. Good afternoon. Gong xi fa cai.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Oh,
Xin
here
Nian
you are.
Kuai Le. Gong xi fa cai.
新年快乐. Well, first of all, we want to know how has the celebration going so far? I mean, we always love your tea room. It looks like an antiquity museum to me. But today it's even merrier with the orchids and all that.
Thank you. Thank you. It's because of Chinese New Year, so we have to have like Chinese New Year decorations. Here we have an orchid. Orchid is always a good symbol for Chinese. It's an auspicious symbol. It actually portrays luck as well. And also we have our tea set up for today, and I'm going to brew a very special tea that is meant for Chinese New Year.
Interesting. So that particular, is there any particular dish that goes along with that as well? Or maybe on a different occasion during the New Year?
Actually, when we're talking about tea, tea is always very, very much drank together with Chinese dishes, right? Especially like when you're having yum chai in the morning, tea is always a good option. So when you have your first breakfast during Chinese New Year, it is very important for you to have a good meal and also a good tea to be on the side of it. So what we're having today is also one of the most special one that comes from Wuyi Mountain from Fujian. So this is a very special tea. What the name is Shui Jing Gui. It means water, golden turtle.
Right.
This is a very good symbol. This is a very auspicious symbol for Chinese, especially if you're consuming it during the Chinese New Year, because shui or water is a symbol of life, jing or gold is the symbol of wealth, and then you have the kui or turtle, it is a symbol of longevity.
Wow.
So it means that you have a good, prosperous life starting in the Chinese New Year.
Okay, so Othniel, this is Rory speaking, and talking about the time of drinking tea. Different people have different time, right? For example, I drink tea before going to bed. Some people drinking tea during their breakfast time, and some others, even the British, they do afternoon tea. Which one is, the rightest moment to drink tea, and what are the benefits of consuming tea that most people don't know?
Actually, if we're talking about when is the right time to consume tea, you also have to know what is the type of tea that you are going to consume during that specific time. For example, if you're consuming green tea, it is best if you consume it like in the morning or in the afternoon, because green tea has quite a big amount of caffeine. So if when you brew it, then the caffeine will be extracted. If you consume it late in the evening, you're not gonna be able to go to sleep. But then if you're consuming it in the morning, it is a very good one to actually energize you so that before you go to work, before you do your activity, you can actually be energized. But then also, if you're going to drink it in the afternoon, a lot of people also suggest you to take black tea as well. Why? After you eat a meal, right, you will feel like a little bit drowsy. And then the black tea actually also have a little bit more caffeine, but still less compared to green tea, so that it will actually be able to awake you again after the lunchtime. That is why they usually serve it after the lunchtime during the afternoon tea.
Can you elaborate more on with the tea that you're serving right now? And is that a specialty tea for Chinese New Year? What is that?
Specialty
Yes,
tea.
this is actually, it is a specialty tea. Because when we're talking about a tea like this Shui Jinghui, it is a very special oolong tea that actually is very hard to come by. And it has quite a lot of grade. And the higher grades of this one can actually be very, very expensive. So when we're talking about Shui Jinghui, a lot of people actually especially from the Fujian heritage and the Teochew heritage, they like to consume this in the Chinese New Year because it represents auspicious symbols like the longevity and the wealth. However, if we're talking about why I'm consuming this or why am I even elaborating more on this tea, it's because I really like the character of this tea. Number one, it is very fragrant. When we're talking about the fragrance of this tea, it is similar to flowers. So when you're taking a whiff of it, the smell actually reminds you of orchid flowers
we
and
can
also like
smell it too.
osmanthus flowers, jasmonic flowers. Yeah, when COVID ends, I should go there and serve this to you. I
do.
bet that all of you will be falling in love with this tea. And then like, you know what? What is actually very good about this tea is that this tea is baked for quite a long time. When you baked a tea for quite a long time, the caffeine level actually subsides. It is lessened because the caffeine during the baking process, it evaporates. So that this kind of tea, you can also drink it in the evening. So if you want to go to sleep, this is a very good nightcap because when you drink it, you can have the aroma in your nose, and then when you finish drinking it, you swallowed it, the aftertaste will linger, and then the after aroma will actually emanate from your palate into your nose, so that when you finish drinking, when you go to sleep, you can actually still smelling it. Feels like when you're
Wow.
sleeping, you're still drinking the tea.
That sounds so great. Oh
I
my
wish we
God.
could,
I
every
was
time
trying to
I drink
imagine.
tea, that he's there.
Yeah.
It becomes a totally different, experience when you have someone telling that. You're like a tea storyteller for us.
He
know?
is, he's a master of tea.
Yeah.
Yeah. And during the break, let's get some tea, guys. And imagine Othniel is telling us about the story of the tea. All right. So we heard
It is
that.
always a good idea to have a cup of tea before bed. A lot of people actually tell you, right, when you are going to bed, you shouldn't drink tea, right?
Yeah.
But then there are actually like this type of tea that is baked for multiple times. They actually like help your brain to produce melatonin. So you can actually get a deeper sleep after you consume this type of tea, which is surprising, right? Because a lot of people actually tell you if you drink tea before you sleep, you're not gonna sleep, right?
Okay. So, Othniel, is it okay to mix, tea, for example, oolong tea or green tea with other ingredients such as jasmine or, vanilla or chai? Would that be appropriate to mix it up?
Actually, it is okay because like in the old times, there are also a lot of people blending tea with different like ingredients. However, what you really need to pay attention to is whether the ingredient is going to complement the tea or not. Not just in terms of flavors, not just in terms of aroma, but also when we're talking about the energy that actually emanates from the product. For example, when we're talking about the tea that we're drinking today, like this shui jing gui is very warming. So when we're talking about a warming tea, right, then you do not actually want to mix it up with something that is too cold because then it will brought the tea down, or something that is also too hot that will actually makes your body feels like it's burning, right? And then you will be sweating a lot. Because the thing that we want is that to have the other ingredients to complement the tea, not just about the aroma, but also the flavor and also the energy. However, for teas like this, it is advised not to actually blend it together with other ingredients. However, if we're talking about like a commodity of black tea, a commodity of green tea, a commodity of white tea or oolong tea, it is still okay for you to blend it. Because this type of tea,
Interesting.
what we call as single origin, we would like to consume them as it is because they already have like a big array of complexity. It is like a picture. It is like an art that is already made by nature, so that you do not want to scribble on top of it, but you want to savor it as it is.
So the palette is already
Yeah.
complete.
Translation: the tea that Othniel is making is very expensive.
It is. So it's not only any tea, right? There's a specific tea. But some people have their own regime when it comes to drinking tea. Like they like to mix it with sugar, they add milk or even lemons. What do you think about those ideas? What are the do's and
Actually-
don'ts in drinking teas?
Well, you know what? I always advise people not to actually use sugar to put inside their tea. Because
do
like
agree.
when we're talking about tea, when we're drinking tea, right? The mindset is when we want to have a more healthier lifestyle, right? So that when we are actually drinking it, well, there is actually a function of tea that says, right? Tea can actually help to lower your blood sugar. So if you add sugar into the tea, it actually neutralizes the effect, right? And then another thing, when the tea is usually served hot, right, and then you put lemon inside, the lemon it actually contains a lot of vitamin C. It is actually advised for you to consume the lemon chilled instead of hot, because when it is hot, the vitamin C will actually be degenerating. The vitamin C will actually subsided, so it actually does not possess like a good effect anymore. Because like you wanted to have the vitamin C, right? But then you put hot water in it, then you're destroying the vitamin C.
Not a high dose anymore.
Right. Othniel, I'm still curious about the tea that you're making right now and that you're about to have. It sounds very, very delicate. Could you please explain to us the experience? You know, what fragrance it is. You know, what does it have different layers of flavors and fragrance if you consume it?
Oh
right?
yes, indeed. Yes, when we're talking about this tea, right, I will show it to you. Like when I pick it up and then I start smelling it just from afar, right? The smell reminds me of flowers, right? The first flower that comes to my mind is actually orchid. It's actually like vanilla-like orchid. When we're talking about vanilla, it is actually coming from an orchid family. So that when I'm saying orchid, I smell like vanilla. And then if I take it closer, I can actually smell another flower that is reminding me of osmanthus and also jasmine and also magnolia flower. So from here, we already dissect the level of fragrances. We already have 4 fragrant notes, right? And then I'm gonna take a sip. Don't be jealous. Next time I go there, I'll definitely serve it for you.
Oh, I wish we could sip that tea as well. How's that?
When it hits my palate, it tasted very sweet. I do not put any sugar in here. By nature, tea should be sweet, okay? It actually has a sweet aftertaste in the palate. It tasted also creamy. So it is not just water. It actually has a weight. It actually has like a depth of weight in the body. So when you put it in your mouth, you can actually feel like it's heavy. It feels creamy. And also after I swallow it, right? The flavor remains inside my mouth, inside my palate. Even as I speak, the aroma rolls back up again from the throat to the nose.
All right.
So when we're talking about this tea, another special thing is that this tea is also called as rock tea. The reason why is because like the substrate where the tea plant grow in its origin, it does not consist a lot of volcanic soil. But then it actually consists a lot of sediments, a lot of sand, a lot of rocks. So it consists a lot of mineral. That is why when you consume this tea, when you tasted this tea, the taste of the mineral, like Himalayan salt, that kind of mineral, you can definitely taste it in your mouth. It tingles in your mouth.
Amazing.
So
Othniel.
this is savory, sweet, fragrant.
Right, what makes me really curious is the price of that tea. It looks so fancy and
Don't
sounds
make us
so
drool
artsy.
and not being able
Right?
to afford
Does it
that.
cost us a village to does it cost us a village to buy and sip that particular tea?
Not really, because like when we're talking about this type of tea, as I said before, there are like several grades of this one. You know, it's like if you really want to taste it like the highest grade, it's gonna cost you a fortune. However, you can also get like a commodity version of this tea. This tea actually like, when we're talking about the production area of this tea, we have like the inner ring, the second ring, and the outer ring.
Right.
The tea from the inner ring is very expensive. It costs you a lot of money to get it. However, the tea from the second ring is very much affordable, and the tea from the outer ring is very, very much
Right.
affordable.
So in particular,
and definitely tasted it.
Othniel, the particular tea that you're tasting or you're
Is
sipping,
it from
how
inner,
much is that?
Is it from inner, outer, or third layer?
How much is that?
And how much?
This one is actually from the second layer, not the inner layer. So
And
this
how much
one
is
will
that?
cost you for about 10 million rupiah per
Per
My
cup?
God.
Or per gram? Or per,
Per what? Per what?
Per
kilo.
gram?
Per half a kilo.
Per half a kilo.
For
Okay.
500 grams. Yes.
Okay, we
But
need to
then you
sell
must
something to buy
remember, you don't need to use so much about it. You don't need to use so much of the tea. You know the amount of tea that I put inside my teapot? It's only about 1 to 2 grams. So
Okay.
if you divide it by like 500 or buy 1,000,
Right.
right? It's gonna cost you about only like 20,000 rupiah per brew.
I see. I'm
right?
just,
and then
Othniel, I'm just going to use
you
one
can brew it
leaf
again and again.
so that it can last for 10 years.
Oh my God.
So 10 million for 10 years, right?
Every Lunar New Year, that's it. No more than that.
I just only
Oh
put
my
one leaf of it.
You're very economical,
Oh
Rory.
no, you should consume it. It's good for your body. It is beneficial for you, you know. You spent a lot of money already. You should drink it. You should put it in you.
Listen to Othniel, okay? That's for wealth, life, water. That's got everything in it. Well, it's been an amazing explanation, and it completes the Lunar New Year celebration as well. Thank you so much, Othniel, for showing us how to make the right cup of tea. And last but not
welcome.
least, what do you wish for your New Year of Tiger this year?
My wish for this year is actually number one is for COVID to hurry up and go away, right? So that I can
It's
travel
everybody's
around.
hope.
And then the other one is actually for everyone to have a good health and to have a prosperous year. Because I know that it's been a hard year, like since 2020, 2021. And then I hope like in 2022, everything will start to get bright again.
Right. So thanks so much, Othniel, for your explanation, also your story. A storyteller of tea. Thanks so
You're
much.
welcome.
Stay well.